Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin.
Hi there, and welcome to a brand new episode of KlikCast. In this episode, we're going to review all the games that were submitted for the Daily Klik mini compo. In total, 28 games were submitted. So we're going to start at game number 28 and work ourselves all the way up to game number 1 and reveal who the prize winner is. Alright, so let's get started. Here is game number 28. Total score 0.5. In this minigame version of Massacre, all you need to do is blowing up your enemy, and that's all there is to it really. There's no real challenge apart from trying to pick a weapon without being hurt. For a future version, I think it would be nice that when you pick a different weapon, and I have to say there's lots to choose from, to pause the game until the player selects his new weapon, because right now the player gets overpowered real quick as he tries in selecting his new weapon. But other than that, there's nothing much else new to this minigame, which is a shame. As it stands now, it's fun to try for a bit, but nothing else. Overall score 5.4. In Flicken, you have to flip coins between each other. However, when you first start out, it's really hard to figure out what's happening or even what to do. Did the coin just flick or not? The problem lies with the graphics and make the game a little confusing. It's worth a quick try if you know the original game it's based on, but for most people it might be a little too confusing. Total score 5.4. In Time Target, the object of the game is to shoot a target and then move on to the next. And shoot that. While the game has a nice shooting engine, there is not much to this game basically. You have to find new targets, and when your time runs out, it's game over. It would have been more fun if you would have had to hit a certain number of targets before the time runs out and then move on to the next level if you succeeded. Right now, when the time is up, no matter how many targets you hit, it's game over. So not much replayability there. The game is fun at the very beginning, but it doesn't last. Total score 5.6. In this game, the aim of the game is to avoid all light and shoot the enemy monsters, since you are a shadow of darkness and light can kill you. The problem with this game is that it's extremely hard right from the very beginning. Light beams are shot at you from the side and top, and enemies are attacking you every couple of seconds. Also, there are no real levels other than the fact that the game will end if you reach around 5,000 points. While the story of the game is kinda cool, there's not much replay value here, and it would have been nice if the game was a bit easier from the beginning. Total score 5.7. In this game, you play a little pixie that has to keep collecting mushrooms. The game starts off with a funny catch tune from Mario, and you're off to collect your mushroomies. The game starts off easy in the version I played, and it gives you some time to get used of the controls. The game starts to get harder and harder as you stand your ground and jump over your enemies. Not only will the enemies keep coming at you faster and faster, but more and more will be all over the screen. There are no levels, so if you reach a certain point, the game just gets too hard and you will perish. Pixie is a good effort that actually wants you to try just one more time, for a little while at least. Total score 6.0. Orbs has a very cool concept. In the game, you are a little orb and you have to collect orbs that are smaller than you to advance. If a bigger orb touches you, it's game over. The game is fun at first, but you quickly absorb all the orbs until you are the biggest orb ever. Once you are done, the game just generates a new map and basically starts over. A time limit might have helped the game replayability wise, and maybe some asteroids that you have to avoid at all cost. Right now, it's a cool little game to see, and the graphics and effects are quite amazing, but that's about it. Total score 6.1. The game brings back some memories from the old Amiga days. In the game you play Dave, and you have to collect as many diamonds and treasures as you can within 60 seconds. The problem is, like with some of the other games, that's all there is to it. There are no levels, your only goal is to collect as many things as you can within 60 seconds. The saving feature of this game is the online high score mode, and this does help you go back and try the game again to be quicker than the other folks on the high score list. It's a fun game to play for a while, and the game does have some catchy music and cute old school graphics, but I wish again there was more oomph to it. Total score 6.2. In Mini Ghost you have to guide your ghost to the end. The game takes Mini a bit too literally, and the play screen is too small in my opinion. The graphics are very cute, but since the screen is so small, it gets too hard to jump over platforms and not to fall into spikes. The core gameplay of the game is good, but it's halted by smallness of everything. Overall, a cute little fun game, but it does not reach its full potential. Total score 6.3. Watch out for the amazing Coke can, folks. In this game you have to spray your Coke at Pepsi cans. The aim of the game is to try and get a higher score and try to keep on playing without the Pepsi cans blasting you away. The game has some cool little graphics and the music is upbeat and fun. After playing for a bit you do wish some more things would happen, or maybe even some more different surroundings. A fun little game to play once or twice, but there's not enough to keep you coming back. Total score 6.4. Dots is a puzzle game where you have to click the right color dots in your screen before the time runs out. It's a nice idea, and the first couple of levels were fun to play. However, very important with these games are music and graphics to keep you interested in the next level, since the gameplay is almost the same in every level. Unfortunately, apart from having a different harder color to click, the graphics remain the same and there's no music to keep you going. A good effort, but the game unfortunately does not have much replay value. Overall score 6.5. So what if Pac-Man was a big muscle guy that had a huge gun? Well, the partly answer comes into the form of Pac-Man 1990. In the game you are a big ass dude that has to collect all the golden dots to win. You do carry a gun, but unfortunately you can't fire it. So to avoid your enemies you have to either run or try and jump over them. There is also no music or sound effects in this one. There is some fun to be had here, but you just die too quickly. If you touch an enemy instead of losing some power, it's game over, which is a real shame, since it's still fun running around and collecting those dots. Also, it would have been great to just blast your enemies away and collect some ammo here and there. But right now, Pac-Man 1990 is a fun game to give it a try, but there's not much to keep you coming back. A good effort, however. Dotman starts out to be actually a fun game with some strategic gameplay elements. The point of the game is to collect all the goals while avoiding the ghosts that only follow you until you are out of reach. You can actually outrun the ghosts. To get the gold you can draw the ghosts out, then outrun them and get some gold. The music is catchy, and while the graphics are really simple, I still had fun the first level. The only catch with this game is that it's too short. The game only has one level. Once you collect the gold and find your way to the exit, you get some text stating you are now rich, and that's it. For me, as a game player, that was a little disappointing since I spent some effort trying to beat the first and only level. But in the end, it was fun while it lasted. I just wished it lasted just a bit longer. A pirate game where you do not play as a pirate. Oh no, something far better. You play the cannon in this one. In the balloons, the point of the game is to shoot down all the ships on the screen before you run out of cannonballs. The game starts out nice and easy, but quickly becomes harder as new obstacles are introduced. I like the fact that you are rewarded continuing on with the game by having a bigger challenge. For example, after a couple of levels the barrels are introduced, which makes for some interesting levels. The graphics are fun, but I do miss some piratey music in the game. After a while it does get a bit more of the same, since the whole point is to just shoot down ships in every level. But the author of the game does try and keep things fresh and keep things moving along in every level. Total score 7.5. In this two-color style game, you are a little ball that has to avoid evil blocks. You can also gain power-ups that gives the power to destroy blocks for a couple of seconds, and there's even a level-up block that you have to catch to continue to the next level. The game is fun, but dare I say it, almost a bit too easy. I quickly got to level 7 without too much issues, and once you get used to all the enemies and power-ups, there's nothing much else to explore, but for the fact that everything just goes much quicker. An online high score system would have helped the game out a little, but still this is a fun, original game with a really cool rocking music track. Falling blocks is like Tetris, but in reverse. In the game, your spaceship has landed into this deep hole, but blocks start to fall down from the sky and you have to avoid the blocks but also climb on them if you want to survive. So in a nutshell, you have to keep climbing on the blocks that fall down. The blocks fall randomly and sometimes you just get stuck, but the music is cheery and it's fun to go back and just try it again from the beginning. There's really no real leveling system or rewards program in place, so you just have to try and keep getting a higher score before the blocks get ya. Again, some online high scoring system would have helped. All in all, this is a fun little game with a very original idea behind it. Total score 7.8. This game took me a bit by surprise. The game has a really old school feel to it, nice 1990s music, and graphic it all fits. The game plays like an old school game too. In the game you have been transported out of your comfy bed and you have to escape. To escape you have to find colored dots to continue on with the next level. The level design is actually very well laid out and planned with switches that open or close certain sections in the game. It would have been nice to have some scoring system or even some enemies to blast away. However, this is a fun old school puzzle game that should surprise you in a good way. Total score 7.9. In Mr. Sloppy, you play a cat that has to keep jumping from platform to platform. If you don't, then it's game over. The game has some nice looking graphics, and every time you play this game, it's different because your platforms are randomly generated. A really nice addition to the game is that you can float in the air for a couple of seconds. This really helps you as you try and scramble to get to the next platform. With some catchy music and a good one more time factor, this game received a total score of 8.0. Alright, so we're about to hit the top 10. You know, I could really use some music right about now. What's that sound?
I've been to a site called TDC. I'll sign right enough and they welcome me. I'll make you play games until my hard drive's full. There's never a moment round here that's dull. Ricky Steele'll be put on his thinking cap. But there's a lot of fun potential here we can tap. Let's have a compo and see who here's the best. Put all the clicker skills at game making to the test. It's time for the TDC mini compo. You make a bunch of games and you put them up for show. People come around and they pick the best one. You should give it a try, it's a whole bunch of fun.
Spaceman Sam starts off great and has this great idea behind it. In the game you have to collect all the gears for your spaceship so you can go back home. To do this you can use a grappling hook to attach yourself to walls and swing from platform to platform. There is a tutorial section that I suggest you read first. The programming behind this game is very well done. I found swinging from platform to platform pretty easy once I got used to the controls. However, certain points in the level can be a little frustrating the way the grappling hook points are set up. It would also be nice for the main character to have a laser or some sort of thing to blast away some enemies. As it stands now, you can only swing all over the place, trying to avoid spikes and figuring out ways to get your gear parts, which is still fun to do in the beginning. The game is a mixture of joy and at some points frustration as you try to catch your hook onto a hook point. Overall, with some really nice graphics and fun gameplay elements, the good points overshadow the hard level design of the game. Overall score, 8.2. First, let me compliment Krilly on a wonderful engine. The game has some wonderful lighting effects and the jumping and climbing gameplay feels solid. In Acrobatic Net you have to jump and climb walls to collect gems. You can't fall, but also can't get stuck in the ever-moving scrolling levels. The game would be perfect if the world around you would change and if there were some enemies to avoid. Right now it's between you and trying not to fall, which works, but only for so long. This is also not an easy game. It's hard, but you can get a high score after you get used to the controls. The game features some cool music and a really neat dash button that lets your character dash to the left or right. It helps when you are trying to save yourself from falling the depths of nothingness. Overall, a good game, but its replayability factor could have been a little higher. Total score, 8.3. Paint It was a game I actually played for a long time. In the game you are a paintbrush and you have to color all the red squares green. While this may sound easy, Jason incorporated some really cool puzzles where it can be really tricky to color all the squares green. You do advance in this game, so every time you clear a screen you move on to the next one. You are able to finish the game and a timestamp is provided how quickly you finished it, which makes you want to go back and play some more to beat your own time. A fun, original concept with some catchy tunes, this is a game that really surprised me how addictive painting can be. Total score, 8.5. Penguins is a very cool puzzle game where you have to guide your penguin to safety. You can do this by bringing him from one side to the other before a blizzard comes and takes the poor penguin with it. Every time a blizzard comes by, after a set time, you will have to help the next penguin to clear some snow for him so he can make it safely to the other side of the screen. Of course, the snow will pile up and it will be harder to help the penguins along the way. The game has a great engine and the graphics are incredibly well made. The game has lots of levels and the game does start out easy and slowly gets harder. The only problem with the game is that while it's lots of fun at first, by the time you reach level 3, things will start to look a bit the same and there's nothing enough a difference in challenges to keep you going. It would have been nice to mix things up a bit with enemies while still having the snowstorm. However, Penguins is still a very unique and fun to play puzzle game that should not be missed. Total score, 8.7. Fun times are to be had with Blob's Bubble Buster. In the game you are a blob that has to kill some evil bubbles with your trusty plasma gun. The game has a great menu that does a great job pointing you in the right direction, and there's even a nice help screen before you start. The game is controlled by the mouse and the mouse buttons to shoot. The great thing about this minigame is that you keep advancing and the great power-ups keeps piquing your interest. There is this really great power-up where you are able to fly and in a kung fu move shoot your enemies down from the sky. This game receives a total score of 8.9. I was impressed.
You lose.
Well, I really did not know what to expect with this one. The game has a cool name, so I jumped right in. In this game you are a cool orange ball that has to survive by avoiding all the obstacles that are floating in its path. However, you can collect the red and green orbs to gain some more of your power back. If you run out, then it's game over. The longer the game continues on, the faster and more obstacles will appear in your screen. The game has some fun graphics and the music fits just fine, and you gotta love the cute sound effects. There's also room to create combos, and all mayhem breaks loose when the Nohawk time hits you when everything doubles in speed for a couple of seconds. Legend of Nohawk is a fun and addicting game. The only thing I miss is an online scoring system so you can compete scores with others around the world. Other than that, 2 thumbs way up. Overall score 9.0.
Lágrimas caírem dos seus olhos profundos, são capazes de ainda tão ingênuos, aguardando a chegada do final dos guerras. Desesperizado, me desculpa, sou algo que me faça encontrar aquele levam em atrás e nunca mais deixou voltar.
I had this idea of a boring typing game in my mind when I first saw the title of the game. How wrong could I have ever been? Mr. One Hand Typer is a fun, fast and upbeat one-hand typing game. This is how it works. With one hand you have to type in the words that are showing up on your screen. With the other you have to move your mouse and try and catch the letters that you just typed. The more letters you catch, the more your level bar will progress. If you catch enough letters, you'll move on to the next level. But you also have to watch out for evil items falling from the sky. The music is happy and upbeat, and the entire game just flows with the amazing quick style. This game is addicting and fun, and I had trouble to stop playing. It's that good. Another really original minigame here. In the game you are a cute little dog that gets trapped in a house in the middle of a cemetery. In the game you have to pick up the dog and have him collect ice cream cones because, you know, that's what he likes. Once you collect all the cones, a box appears that you have to pick up and drop at one certain point in the level to open the door. Once you've done that, the dog can run into the door and the next level begins. The game is lots of fun to play as you guide your doggy through the levels and puzzles. There's lots to do and difficulty does increase in every level. But there's also more to do with every level. Spiders will appear and also green slime needs to be avoided. The graphics are outstanding and really gives this game a great feel along with the wonderful sound and cute doggy noises. Also, it would have been awesome to have a high score system so you could compete with other dog owners around the world. That little nitpicking aside, this turned out to be a great game that has a really original design and storyline. It should not be missed. Total score 9.2. Great Fall is a very interesting concept. In the game you are a ball and you are dropped into this huge cave. The point of the game is to keep falling down. However, if you hit a platform and you are brought up all the way to the top of the screen, it's game over. So you will have to keep moving back and forth to survive. The other thing is that you also can't fall too fast, otherwise you will just fall into nothing and it will still be game over. So there's a bit of strategy involved. The great thing about this game is that it's addicting. You know, if you die at some point, you will kind of know how to keep on going the next time you try. Also, because of the great high score system, you want to beat all those people that are in the top. Of course, over time you'll fall faster and faster. You really have to look ahead to what platforms to jump on. Also, I noticed that the depth level gets higher the further you go down, so it's harder to see the platforms at the bottom. To see the platforms at the bottom. I just fell off my chair onto the floor. That really hurt. Anyway, let's keep going. All in all, this was a very fun and addicting game that I kept on playing. I'm gonna give this game a 9.4. Let me get some water. Before going to bed the night I played the impossible mission, I was thinking how I could set my alarm clock 10 minutes early so I could still sneak in some impossible mission time before going to work. Now that right there, folks, is a sign of a great game. Impossible Mission is a puzzle game where you have to get your ball to the exit. The twist, however, in the gameplay lies in the gravity, and it's brilliant. If you touch an arrow that points into a certain direction, then your ball will go into that direction. This opens up a whole range of really cool and complicated puzzles. The setting is set in space and it fits the game, as does the cool music and sound effects. The game has 17 levels to complete, and the perfect thing about this is that there is an online high scoring system that was added for every level. Not only does the game count for your own personal score, but if you want, you can also enter the high score for everyone that played the game online. It is incredibly satisfying to see your name up there, even more so in the later levels. If that was not enough, we also get our very own cool level editor, so we can mess around with our own levels. I am impressed even more so since the game was made in just 5 days. The game has everything a fun concept, mixed with lots of replayability and fun graphics and sound effects. This is the cream of the crop of mini-games in my opinion. I loved it. If you have not checked this game out, then go for it. It's great. Total score 9.7. Alright folks, that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed all the reviews. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, see you later.
I've been to a site called TDC. I'll sign right enough and they welcome me. I make you play games until my hard drive's full. There's never a moment round here that's dull. Rick is sealed, being put on a stinking cap. There's a lot of fun potential here we can tap. Let's have a compo and see who here's the best. Put all the clicker skills at game making to the test. It's time for the TDC mini compo. You make a bunch of games and you put them up for show. People come around and they pick the best one. You should give it a try, it's a whole bunch of fun.